Attention passionate Philadelphia, EAGLES. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Philadelphia Eagles' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Philadelphia Eagles fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Philadelphia, EAGLES. Let's get to the news now, folks. Let's talk about the Eagles, because there's a lot to unpack here. The Philadelphia Eagles, as many of you already know, are coming off one of their most exciting seasons in recent memory. They made a real statement last year, not just making the playoffs, but going all the way to the Super Bowl, where they fell just short in a heartbreaking loss. But if there's one thing that's clear, it's that this team is loaded, talented, and among the favorites to go back to the big game and finally bring home that second Lombardi trophy in just a few years. The roster is stacked, the coaching staff is among the best in the league, and the chemistry, especially on defense, is palpable. However, even with all this talent, the Eagles are always looking to fine-tune their roster, especially when it comes to pass rushers. If there's one area where they could see some real improvement, it's in that outside linebacker position, particularly when it comes to rushing the passer. That's why the buzz around veteran linebacker Matthew Judon has been growing lately. Judon, for those who may not be as familiar, is a four-time Pro Bowler, a guy known for his relentless pass rushing ability and someone who has proven himself over several seasons in the NFL. His best years came with the New England Patriots, where he established himself as one of the league's more consistent and reliable pass rushers. Judon's career stats are impressive, 72 sacks so far, which is no small feat, and he's also contributed with an interception over his 131-game career that started back in 2016 with the Baltimore Ravens. Now, he's a veteran who has seen a lot, and his experience could be exactly what the Eagles need to push their defense over the top. But what makes this story really interesting is that Judon's recent form has sparked some debate among fans and analysts alike. After a decent season with the Atlanta Falcons in 2024, where he racked up 5 sacks and 41 tackles, the veteran is still a free agent, and that's where things get intriguing. You see, after being traded from the Patriots to Atlanta in 2024, Judon's move was seen as a solid addition for the Falcons, especially considering they traded a third-round pick to get him. But his season in Atlanta didn't quite live up to expectations. Many thought he would continue to be a double-digit sack threat, especially given his track record. Instead, his production and effort seemed to take a step back. It was a bit underwhelming, especially for a player of his caliber. Still, there's no denying that Judon has the talent and the experience to be a game-changer, particularly in a defense like Philadelphia's, which already boasts one of the league's best front fours. In fact, the Eagles' defensive line was a huge reason why they dominated during their Super Bowl run last year. Their pass rush was relentless, disruptive, and it often set the tone for the entire defense. But adding a player like Judon could bring even more firepower to that unit. Think about it, a guy who can come in as a situational pass rusher, someone who can close the game out or provide that extra push when needed. Judon's skill set makes him an ideal candidate to replace or complement someone like Hassan Reddick, or even act as a rotational piece at outside linebacker. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. Judon's free agency has been somewhat quiet compared to his previous years, and he's still unsigned. But reports suggest that teams like the Detroit Lions, San Francisco 49ers, and Kansas City Chiefs are all interested in bringing him on board. And those teams, as you know, are serious playoff contenders and division rivals of the Eagles, which adds a little extra spice to the story. The Eagles, of course, would love to keep him away from those teams, especially considering how dangerous a pass rusher Judon can be when fully motivated. What's really compelling about this situation is that Judon could come at a very reasonable price point, potentially a one-year deal, which makes sense given the salary cap constraints the Eagles are facing. With the offseason and training camp already underway, teams are looking to fill holes without overspending, and Judon's experience and proven production could be just what the Eagles need to make that final push. This isn't just about adding a player. It's about making the roster even more versatile, more unpredictable, and more dangerous for opponents to handle. Some analysts point out that Judon's recent performance may have dipped slightly, but that's often the case with veteran players who are navigating the market late in the offseason. It's also worth noting that his previous seasons, especially with the Patriots, showed that when he's on the field, double-digit sacks are not just a possibility, they're almost expected. So if the Eagles manage to sign Judon, it could be a real steal, especially at a bargain price. It could also serve as a strategic move to keep him away from rivals like the Lions, 49ers, or Chiefs, which is always a consideration when building a championship-caliber team. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. The Eagles are already a team that's built to contend. Their front four is among the best in the league, and their secondary is solid. But as we all know, the NFL is a league that's constantly evolving, and the margins between winning and losing are razor-thin. If adding Judon can give them that extra edge, that boost of pass rush productivity, it could be the difference in close games this season. It's not just about the stats, it's about the pressure he can generate, the disruption he can cause, and the veteran leadership he can bring to a young, hungry defense. And for Judon himself, this is a chance to rebuild some value before hitting free agency again in 2026. A one-year deal with the Eagles makes perfect sense for him. It's an opportunity to showcase that he still has plenty of gas left in the tank, to get back to double-digit sack production, and to put himself in a good position for a lucrative multi-year contract next offseason. It's a win-win situation. Philadelphia gets a proven pass rusher who can make an immediate impact, and Judon gets a fresh start and a chance to prove he's still at the top of his game. Now, with the preseason already underway and training camp in full swing, the buzz around this potential signing is only going to grow. Fans are already speculating, debating whether Judon would be the perfect fit, and wondering if the Eagles are truly in the mix to bring him in. It's a storyline that's going to develop over the coming weeks, and I can tell you, it's something every Eagles fan should keep an eye on. Because if this move happens, it could very well be the final piece that pushes Philadelphia to another Super Bowl run, and maybe, just maybe, finally brings that elusive second Lombardi trophy home. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Philadelphia Eagles news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now, let us continue with the big reveal. Looking ahead, the Eagles have a lot to be optimistic about, but they also know that every year brings new challenges. The NFC East is tougher than ever, with teams like the Dallas Cowboys and New York Giants investing heavily to improve their rosters. So, the Eagles' front office is always looking for that extra edge, that little tweak that can turn a good team into a great one. Bringing in someone like Judon, especially at this stage of the offseason, could be that move. It's about making a statement that the Eagles are committed to competing at the highest level, that they're willing to take calculated risks, and that they're always looking for ways to get better. And let's not forget the importance of leadership. Judon, with his experience and his track record, could serve as a mentor for the younger players on the team. His work ethic, his professionalism, and his desire to stay at the top of his game are qualities that can inspire the entire defense. When you combine that with the existing talent, you get a team that's not just talented on paper, but also motivated and hungry to defend their NFC crown and go further in the playoffs. So, Eagles fans, what do you think? Is adding Judon the missing piece that takes this team from good to great? Do you believe he still has what it takes to be a double-digit sack artist in the league? Or do you think the team should explore other options? Whatever your thoughts, I want to see your comments below because your opinion matters so much to us and to the Philadelphia Eagles. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, more insights, and more of the latest Philadelphia Eagles news. Stay tuned because the best is yet to come, and this team is just getting started. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Birds.